Turning now to the ongoing bans affecting the LGBTQ plus community in red states. Yesterday, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis signed 4 bills that took aim at the transgender community, drag performances, and discussions of sexual orientation and gender identity in the classroom.
Activists say the introduction of these 4 bills is the largest slate of anti-LGBTQ bills in one legislative session that Florida has ever seen. DeSantis had this to say about the bills.
We're protecting kids. And we're going to protect kids when it's popular. We'll protect kids even when you take some incoming as a result of maybe offending some ideologies or some agendas out there, but that's fine.
NBC Out reporter Jo Yurcaba is here with more on all this. Jo, thank you for joining us. You covered this extensively. Let's start with 2 of the bills that are really focused on minors. One would ban really gender-affirming care for transgender kids. The other one is an expansion of what critics call the Don't Say Gay law, really restricting discussions of sexual orientation, gender identity in the classroom. Tell us more about what we should know about these bills and what happens if someone violates these new laws.
Sure. So under current law, the so-called Don't Say Gay law, it prohibits instruction on sexual orientation and gender identity in K through 3rd grades. So this new law is going to expand that through 8th grade, but it also is going to put restrictions on reproductive health education in 6th through 12th grade. And it's going to say you can only do that in a way that's age or developmentally appropriate. And then so there's, if a teacher were to violate that law, they could potentially lose their license, or a parent could sue their school district. The other new bill is the one that would ban gender-affirming care for minors, and it's really the most extreme that we've seen in the country so far, according to advocates, because it would allow Florida to take custody of children whose parents provide them with gender-affirming care, even if those families, for example, are just visiting Florida from out of state, so they provide their kids with care in other states. So it's really unprecedented, and if a provider violates that law, they could face up to 5 years in prison.
Also, I understand 2 other bills take aim at transgender people as well, and drag performances. What do we need to know about those ones?
Right. So Florida is now the only state in the country that bars trans people from using public facilities that align with their gender identities, basically in any publicly funded area. So government-owned buildings, schools, colleges, and they're the only state in the nation to do that. Other states have similar laws, but they're much more restricted. They also now have one of these restrictions on drag performances, even though the bill doesn't specifically say anything about drag. DeSantis said in his press conference yesterday that it was specifically intended to restrict drag performances.
And that is, of course, a huge issue right now. It's getting a lot of debate, got a lot of attention in Tennessee as well. Let's switch gears to Texas, because Texas right now has a bill that's heading to the desk of Governor Greg Abbott. This one also bans gender-affirming care for transgender minors. Talk more about this one and what are the implications here?
Sure, yeah. So the bill would restrict trans care for minors, and this is a bill that the state has been pursuing for years now. So if Abbott does sign it, then it's going to, have a really big effect on the community. And parents have told me that it's important to know that in other states that have passed these bills, judges have blocked them from taking effect. But the problem is that usually providers preemptively stop providing care anyway. So I've heard from a number of families in Texas who plan to leave the state even if the law is blocked from taking effect.
We should know pretty much everything we've discussed here. There's a legal challenge and all these issues are pending in court, right?
Right, exactly. And parents have actually already preemptively filed a legal challenge in Florida to block that law.
All right. Jo Yurcaba, we appreciate your reporting. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for watching our YouTube channel. Follow today's top stories and breaking news by downloading the NBC News app.